Hello everyone, TheSenpaiCode here. So I'm going to be doing a video game series for game design development, teaching how to actually make a simple video game, different styles of video games. Um, Basically, I'm going to start with doing like kind of a Spiral, Crash Bandicoot, Jack and Dexter type video game. And I'm going to be doing this with least amount of coding as possible. And so you may ask, how much coding does a video game actually need to work properly? And the answer is pretty much none at all. You can actually do a ton of stuff with animation, hitboxes. You'd only have to really create the damage, the health, the movement, and the camera script, as well as a little bit other stuff. But the main stuff you can actually do with animations. We'll have to actually, if we're doing animations, we'll actually have to do when we do the move script to update the player's position, or else he won't move with the ramps or with the elevators and stuff like that. If it's going in a certain direction, if it's going up and down, he'll move with it, but if it goes forward, it'll just go without him. So basically, I'm going to be creating this tutorial just to create the basics. I may not go into texturing or modeling too much. I may use assets from the asset store to create the level, just because if we're doing modeling and we're doing graphics and a whole bunch of other stuff, it may just take too much time. I'm not going to build like this full on video game where it's going to kind of show the basics to it, is what I'm trying to get at. So right here is kind of a test level that I threw together just to kind of show you guys what I mean about animations and the level. So you can have anything, like if you see the side scrollers. So if you're looking at a brick wall, if this was like a brick wall, like a stone wall, Aztec type style, and you have stuff that come out and push the player off. Now this isn't size proper. You would want it a bit skinnier for uh, the ground here, the base where he's going to be running across. So if you have a game and you have it 3D, and then all of a sudden it switches to like a kind of a side scroller, or you can keep it 3D where you can look around the camera. You have stuff that push them out, so the stuff blocks that come from the wall, stuff that goes up and down, and if they're underneath, they get squished, they die, like in Crash Bandicoot. If they get pushed off, you can actually have this black instead of waterized through water here for the island. It can be black if they get pushed off, they touch the black, or they fall down. You can have the camera stop and the guy fall, and they get smaller and they die. Or if they fall off, they die, and you can have like the camera fixed to a certain position like there, so when they disappear out of an angle, they lose a life or something like that. You can have little squares that come out that they have to jump onto, and you'll see here in a second when I get into that. Then you can have elevator type stuff, like blocks that go up and down. So this one will actually go down to here and then up to here. This one actually will stop here and will go up a bit higher, so that they have to jump on them to get up here. They won't be able to get up. You can have a log. So if this is like a jungle level, you can have a log like this that will actually swing and that can knock them off. You can have a elevator type thing like this that will actually change elevations, that will go on like a slant 40 degrees or 30 or whatever slant you want to bring them up to like a pillar. So if it was like Jack and Dexter or any of those, and you have like ancient machines or something like that, and this hovers and it will hover up to this pillar, which is like a machine that was abandoned thing, and then you have these two that will actually, this one will actually go to here, this one will actually go to here, so they get closer, and this one actually will go this way, and this one back and forth, so that they have to jump onto this, and then you'll have it there. And I'll show you that in a bit. You can actually use platforms to get across to different places. You can actually use elevators, and these are just all animated, so there's nothing here that's scripted out. I do have a camera script that I attached onto this. I don't have any movement script. Like I said, we'll have to figure it out. I'll have to code that in so that we can actually follow with the elevators. So when I do these elevators, I'm actually going to walk with them. You can have music in the background, and the music is just, you can have you don't actually need a script. You can actually just put an audio source and everything. I'll get into all that later. And you can just use non-copyright music is what I'm going to be using. And we can actually just put all the tracks together and then just have them loop, or put them for like whatever level we're at, have it play that type of music. And then you don't actually have to do a scripting for that. And then you can also have like pillars like this that come out and they can jump onto different ones. You can have different sizes. You can have these three similar and then this one bigger. And if you want, I'll actually show you, actually I'll wait, I'll show you that in a bit. I just wanted to show you can have orbs or stuff that they have to collect. You can have gems like in Spyro. You can have boxes, you can have different things. You can have coins, you can have rings, you can have whatever. For the person to collect to get onto the next level, they have to collect a certain amount. You can have more than the amount that they actually need on that one level, but to get further on, they'll have to come back and finish collecting all of the ones on the first level and all that. And you can have tons of different things. We'll get into it. You'll have to create a game concept. I'll kind of go into the game concept that I want to go with as we progressed through the series. But let's jump in here. So I do have some non-copyright music. I don't have a movement. So you can have different elevations where they can actually jump onto. You can have it if you actually created it in 3D Studio Max, and you can actually have it, it doesn't have to be flat, smooth. So here's the first one we'll have to jump onto. Like I said, the player isn't updating the position. We'll have to do that when we create the movement script. So to get up here, he'll have to get on the elevator. Like I said, this is all animated. There's no, oh, and then you can have stuff that flip like this. So, oops, I missed it. So if they miss it, then they'll have to go through and do that again, which I'm not going to do. I'm just going to move this here just to save us some time. Let's just move this guy here. Let's just plant it here. Actually, I want to show you that we can jump. So let's just put this here. Ah, shoot. If I can actually jump. The movement, as you can hear, when I push it, oh, there we go. So this can actually push you off into the water. Oh no, I'll show you that it can do that. So this is just animated. It has a collision. So when it pushes them off, they die. Simple as that. Let's put that here, him here now. And so this is just all animated. Like I said, it's not the right size. You actually want it thinner. You'd want it about this size, about half of what it is right now. I just did this to show you. And then so you can have stuff like this that come down and squish, and you can actually have them like the middle one come down and then the other ones go up, kind of like what I did with this side. Oh, he's not going to die because I don't have the any damage script or anything like that for collision. And then I'm just going to actually move it along because I suck at jumping apparently. So let's just move this over here and show you guys the next part of this that you can have. You can have stuff that comes out. You can actually keep going up a lot more than this 3. I just like to do 3 each time just to show you guys. And I did come up with this camera script, so when I actually hit stuff, it will actually collide and it won't actually go through. If you use the camera script that's originally with it, you'll actually go through objects, and it won't zoom you in. This one, it will actually zoom you in until you hit the block. And I can actually use the scroll to zoom in. I can actually left click and move around the character. And then if I actually run with the character, I can actually move the character while I click, which I kind of want to take off, but I'm not sure how I really want to do that yet. So like I said, you have different elevations. The boards will come out. You can actually carry it on, and then they can actually jump on this one. This one stops here, and they'll have to jump onto that one, and then they'll have to jump over there. I'm not going to do that all right now. Let's just continue on. And then we have the block here, which would be like a log if this was like a jungle level. So the log will be swinging. There would be ropes, 2 ropes or a rope or something, and that would be holding it up. And it's not actually going that smooth as I wanted. I just really quickly animated these. And then here's the block. See if I can get on it. And I fell off it. But yeah, like I said, they're not updating the character. I need to do a character movement script and everything for that. Let's just move this guy up here. Show you guys this. Hopefully I don't fall through, and I didn't. Okay. And then you have these two that get closer. So if you're actually doing elevation stuff, and then that one, so they'll jump onto this one, jump onto that one. And then I actually want to do two more like this over there, and that's, I actually stopped animating there because I was kind of getting my point through. So we can do stuff like that. And then we can actually add stuff. Like I said, that could be an Aztec wall type thing if we're doing like a jungle map type thing. Or we can do like machines and nature type thing, man against nature. Like a city type thing, that's the pollution's getting out to the islands and stuff like that, where more people who depend on the land, on the environment, are living. I created these little rocks just to throw them in here. This is actually my sand texture that I created, and we'll show you when I get a bit closer. It actually gets a bit more detailed. You can actually have darker sand around the water because it's going to be more damped, right? You can actually do that with the waves. This actually isn't the right waves. I created the bigger waves and I sized it down. But like I said, they'll be able to collect objects, and I actually created some spiral gems here. So they're see-through, they're glass, so you can actually see through them. They actually sparkle, so you'll get the little particle effects off of each one. And then I haven't created a script for it, but we can create a collect, and then we can actually create a number count up here. So for this one area, say this was an area that they have, we could do like a village, like kind of like in what was it called, Jack and Dexter, where it was kind of the tribal village, and then right here it'd go into the jungle, so you'd have like a path that they'd have to go, and you can do different types of trees, ferns. You can have a volcano, you can have smoke, a particle effect for smoke coming out. And then they'd get here, and then they can actually branch off. They can go this way to collect some stuff here, this way. And then you can have a way for them to get across here, whether it's some kind of spring, elevator, that will take them from one to another. You can have a bridge, which I would do a bridge. Basically, I'd just do like a wooden roped bridge that would go across. And you can have like a observatory here. And then you can have another path where they'll have to come down and they'll have to go through this way and this way. You can have different things, like on Crash Bandicoot. Like I said, you can actually animate a bug or an enemy or something with a shell, like a turtle with spikes on it. And then you can have this a collision, like the ones that come down here. So if they land on it, the top of it, they will hitbox on the top. They will die, they will lose their life or something like that. And you can actually just do save points. You don't actually need to do lives. They'll just have to redo the area or from the last save point or something like that. But yeah, they'll collect different things. You can have rings, orbs, gems, whatever you want. It's your imagination, boxes. And you can do different spins and stuff with the character, and that way you don't actually have to do like shooting and stuff. I wouldn't do any shooting if that's my plan anyways. I'm not going to be doing any shooting in this game. I may have different things that they can ride, whether it's a bird or a little dragon or something like that. You can have other stuff too that will follow you. You always want, like in Spiral you have the dragonfly. In Crash Bandicoot, of course, you have the female version. I can't remember what her name is. I haven't played that game in a long time. And you have the mask. The mask is what you have. And then Jack, you have Dexter, and then a whole bunch of other stuff. But you can do, it's really simple to do something like that. Basically, you're just doing hit colliders, and if you hit stuff, you die. And then the thing that's just going to take the time is what kind of graphics do you want it to be? Do you want it to be high definition? Do you want something to be like this type of sand? There's no baked on texture. This is just a texture. So if I want, I can actually add a bump map to it. You can do textures like this. I think would actually look good, and doing something a bit more realistic, like a Unity or a not a Unity, a Unreal Engine version. So if you watch like on YouTube, they have, I'm just gonna stop that to stop the sound. They have different remakes of these games coming out. Like they actually just did a remake of Crash Bandicoot, where the graphics are a bit better now. So I would do something like that. Do better graphics, more realistic graphics. They don't have to be high definition, triple A game type graphics. Just something a bit more realistic is what I'm planning on. Anyways, it's all up to you. If we do models, I may not texture them. I may do them just for placeholders and stuff like that. I'll probably just use assets off the asset store. Although I do want to show you guys some stuff in there, like how to make these gems, for instance, if we're going to do gems, how to make rings, how to get that gold and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's something that I have planned that I want to do. I actually want to be more consistent with my videos. Like I've been uploading maybe once a month now. Just through the past year, I had a whole bunch of stuff to deal with family-wise. So I do plan on uploading a couple times a week now if I do this tutorial series, and we can actually get into different modeling. We can actually do like floating islands in the sky and stuff like that. If we do that, then I'll show you how to do that through 3D Studio Max. So what all we need to do when we get started, you kind of need a story or a plot to follow. Like I said, I want to kind of a tech city. The pollution's flowing out of it and it's causing mayhem for these different tropical islands, and you can have different islands that the people go to, travel through the different gates, different kind of portals. Each island will have different things, so there'll actually probably be like a wooden logged wall here, kind of like in King Kong, you know how he had the gates. You have to collect a certain amount of orbs, gems, whatever it is, to actually unlock to get into the jungle. So you'll have to kind of run around, maybe do some quests. You can have quests for the villagers to get more like higher quality orbs that you'd actually need to get in there. Like they did power cells or something, I think it was called, for Jack and Dexter. Yeah, Jack and Dexter. So yeah, plot twist, you'll need to figure out what game engine you're going to use. I'm going to be using Unity here. I may switch stuff over to the Unreal Engine later on, but this is just more user-friendly for me with C# and this to teach you guys how to do stuff. So we'll start using Unity, so you'll need Unity if you're going to follow this tutorial series. 3D Studio Max is going to be one of our main programs that we'll be using to develop stuff. We might use Blender, but I don't plan on it. ZBrush, maybe we'll probably use that if I actually do start modeling a bit more high detailed. I'm not sure if that's free. 3D Studio Max, you can probably get a student version of it. Unity is free. Paint.net, we'll be using that. It's free. I'll include the links for all these programs down in the description down below. Photoshop isn't free. I'll probably be using that. Quixel Suit, Substance Painter, Substance Designer. All three of those aren't free, but I think you can get a 30-day trial for them. And Crazy Bump. Xnormal. I think that's everything that we'll be using there. So one last thing I want to cover before I actually end this off is what are we going to have to actually stop the player from going any place. Like I said, if you're doing like a side scroller, you can actually have the darkness or something like that. You can have lava. So if you're doing kind of a more like a volcano level lava, if they touch it, they die. If you're doing something like this island here, you can have like a shark where if they swim out, the shark will kill them, eat them, they'll lose their life, like in Jack and Dexter, you can actually do invisible walls, and that's something that I kind of threw in here too. I just made some colliders. I didn't do one for the top, I just did one for the side here. So if I actually move this guy out a bit more and we hop in, we'll actually run into the invisible wall. Right now he just goes in. You can actually have it so he'll swim. You can actually do that. So as you can see, I'm running into invisible wall. You can do hills, you can do like mountain ranges so they can't climb up. You can use that to kind of corral them. What else? Like in Halo, if you fell off an edge, you'd die, so you can have like edges, hills, lava, just invisible walls. What else? You can have anything really as your imagination comes up with it to stop them actually from going out that far. So if you don't want them to hit the invisible wall, you can have a shark where if they swim out, they'll get eaten. It can be an octopus, it can be whatever, piranhas, your imagination. Yeah, so you can have stuff like that to stop them from getting out and to keep them on a certain path that you want, but you can still give them that freedom to explore a little bit. But yeah, so next episode we'll get started. I'll start with a flat normal level so we can start from scratch, so you guys can watch the series from scratch on what we're going to be doing, how we're going to be doing it. I'll actually come up with a kind of a plot and everything like that before we can start, so that we can actually go through all that stuff. And yeah, so we'll get started just jumping right in next episode. And I'll see you guys next episode.